Yeah. Alright, guys. Using proportional relationships. Alright, we, like I said, have done some of this before. We are going to use proportional relationships to find the measure of whatever it tells us to. Something you need to know, if it ever says something like use indirect measurement, it's talking about this. That means we can measure something without actually climbing up and measuring a palm tree by using this idea, but this idea is called indirect measurement. It's good to know what that is. So letter A, in order to find the height of a palm tree, you measure the tree's shadow, and at the same time of day, you measure the shadow cast by a meter stick that you hold at a right angle to the ground. Find the height of the tree, H. I have two right triangles. Also, in case you want to know, the sun's rays come down at a parallel line, so these are actually congruent angles here. So these are similar triangles. Since they're similar triangles, how am I going to find the height of that tree? Okay, 7.2 over 1.6 equals x. They use the variable h, so I'm going to use what they use, over 1. So notice he's got this length in this fraction, and this length in this fraction. Can you do it another way? Yes, it does not matter as long as, like, you could have done the 7.2 and the 1.6 here, and you could have done the h and 1 here. Does not matter as long as they're in the same kind of idea here. How do we solve this? So 7.2, yeah, you can just divide. It's h over 1, so he says, hey, that's just h. So 7.2 divided by 1.6. If you did cross multiply, you get the same thing. Divided by 1.6. It's what? 2.5? 4.5. I can't hear. Okay. 4.5, and I need you to have units. Meters. So yeah, if you ever have h over 1, or anything over 1, you can just divide it. You don't have to cross multiply. Number 3 is similar. Similar triangles. The problem is similar. Yeah. Alright, try number 3. We've got that 6-foot man again that some of y'all don't like. So 6-foot Liam here. We need to find the height of the tree. We've got Liam's shadow. We've got the shadow of the tree. What'd you guys do? Okay. Cross multiply. 8h equals, divide by 8. What is the height of the tree? Did it bother anybody else that they gave us a really cool picture on letter A, but they didn't give us one here? Because it really did me a little bit. What were they doing? They should have gave us a good picture. Evidently. No, we can't do that. Alright, guys, we're going to look at the last one. I might make up one where you got to convert, but otherwise. Alright. Number 5. This one is oriented differently, so you have to think about what would actually be similar, but I think you can figure that out. You need to find, it says to find the distance D across the stream, right here. Levi located points as shown in the figure. Use the given information to find letter D. So find letter D. Alright, so number 5, if you're still writing down number 6, okay, but number 5, you guys said that we don't actually have to keep setting up a proportion, but why? This small piece, 6, compared to 12, we took 6 times 2 and got 12, right? So if you can notice the pattern, you technically don't have to set up a proportion. If you don't notice the pattern, always set up a proportion. So this 6 to 12 is double. What is 12 to D going to be then? So the length of the distance across the stream is 24 meters. You notice it's in that relationship there. Alright, we're going to talk about number 6. It's the only other problem you would have is if you have something that is in 2 different measurements. 2 different units of measurement. What are you going to do if it's in different units of measurement? We got to change it to the same one. I don't want to change it to feet. I don't want, because that would be like 5.3 repeating. I got to change it to inches. What is 5 foot 4 inches in just inches? Yes, 5 times 12 is 60. 60 plus 4 is 64 inches. You could convert it to a fraction and use feet instead. That's fine too. Okay, what is 80 feet? Okay, how do I find the height of whatever this is? Yeah, so you can notice the proportion. You can do 960 divided by 192, take that and multiply it by 64, and then convert back to feet. What he is doing is the exact same as what the math you're actually doing in the proportion. So you get to choose. If you decide, I'm sick and tired of setting proportions, you don't have to anymore. If you understand the proportions and need something to work the exact same way every time, then I would use proportion. You get to choose. But a proportion for this, you guys said was 192 over, I think, 64. You also could do 192 over 960. But 192 goes with 960 in the other triangle, and 64 goes with H. And I would cross multiply. So the other way does work, and will work right every single time, as long as you understand the way that the proportions go together. What's 64 times 960? Make sure I wrote that down right. Okay. Then divide by 192. Which is 320, you said? Is that what you got in your answer? Not for the final answer. I mean like the other way, do it the other way. Alright, I don't want this answer in inches though. So how do I find feet? Okay, so 320 divided by 12 is what? 26 point something. 0.6 repeating. Now, I need you, we're going to put it in 26 feet. I need to find out how many inches that is. 8 inches. 6 repeating is 2/3. Times 12 is 8 inches. So my answer is 26 feet, 8 inches. Your assignment today is this stuff. You're going to do, I think it's actually worked out this week where it's like 637, 647, and it's 657. 657, 1 through 13.